So I gotten sick with the flu, and my body wasn't able to fight it off. So I ended up getting really sick and ended up with a transplant about 2.5 weeks after getting the flu. The doctors were shocked. They kept saying, they would walk in and they'd say, oh, you know, I think we're in the wrong room. You can't be the patient. You're fine. You act fine. You know, I was sharp. They would give me little tests. They would ask me questions, and I would have like name animals, things like that really quickly. I was walking around all the time. I was like, hey, can I get up? I want to go on top of the roof in J building, you know, and I was actually fine to the point where they did send me home for about 2 days. So I did go home. At the time, they thought it was Wilson's disease. So when they were trying to figure out what was wrong, because again, it was very acute, and they were like, this is not making any sense. This girl's really healthy. She's doing everything normally. She's with it, you know. They thought it was Wilson's disease. So they put me on some medicine and they sent me home. And actually, then I went back. That was a Saturday night. Monday morning, I went back and did some lab work. And by that evening, they called and said, we need to list you. So they were hoping, the doctor said, I can't keep treating you for you because you don't seem like a sick person, but you are a really sick person. So they said I probably only had maybe about 2 weeks to live, and probably a week and I'd be in hospice. And then once you're in hospice, you can no longer be listed. So that's when they put me on the list. And they called me about 2 p.m. and about 2 a.m. I got the life-saving phone call. A lot of people ask me, because when I went through it from beginning to end, because again, it was very fast, people were shocked at how well I was handling it. Most people around me said, oh, I'd be freaking out right now. Aren't you in freak out mode? And I think a couple of things for me, like what it went through my head at first was like, are you kidding me? I'm the healthiest person I know. I tell everybody how healthy I am, you know. I had never really been sick. I'd never had stitches before this. I had no good reason to need a liver transplant. But essentially it was what was happening to me. So I think for me, because it happened so fast, I didn't have a lot of time to process it. It was just like, this is happening. Okay, they have a solution. Let's move forward with it. Plus, I do have the 3 children. So with having the 3 boys, it was like anything I need to do to be better and to be here. So for me, it honestly just sunk in as there's something for me to be able to stay alive, and there's a fix for it. So I'm ready for it. Let's go. So when I needed a liver, I didn't know anything about, you know, transplants at all at that time. When I went into the hospital and they said, you may need a donation, you know, get an organ transplant, I said, okay, well, what do you mean? And then the doctors, when they did come in and start talking to me more about it, it was a pretty intense, quick education, you know, spin for me. And post-transplant, I feel like I know a lot about it. I think that, you know, you learn a lot. It was a short period of time, so I got a big crash course on what does it mean. So when LifeBank came out to Charles Schwab, which is where I work, to do an educational program, it really opened my eyes to how much they really do here. You know, I didn't know much about the donation process or the donor families until you guys were out there and educating us, and it made me want to be, you know, a part of the post-transplant family. I'm living proof. I'm somebody's daughter, I'm somebody's wife, I'm somebody's mother, I'm somebody's sister, and everybody out there that needs a donation, they are all those things as well. And you're saving not only that person's life, but you're helping their families and the people around them, and you're allowing them to spend time with their families and have that person in their life, you know, forever. So I would encourage you to be a donor. If I met my donor, I would say thank you. I always say that phone call that I received at 2 a.m. was truly my life-saving phone call. Without that person, I wouldn't be here today. There was another recipient that got the other half of a liver. She may not be here today, and whatever other organs he donated. I mean, he saved lives that day. And I wish for them to know how special that was, because of him and because of his family's decision that day. I'm here. I have 3 young boys. I have my husband, and I get to grow old with them, and I get to enjoy my life because of them. So I would say thank you, and probably give them a big old hug too.